what is the best strategy with the best outcome when dealing with organizations and people in business? This question was asked to Charlie Munger, one of the world's best entrepreneurs and investors in 2020 at the Redlands Forum. And let's listen how he sees it.
Yeah. One time you mentioned that you have a particular way of making deals with people, your friends, business deals. Could you sort of express that to this crowd? Your sort of philosophy about, do you try to win at all costs, or what is your?
No.
What do you do?
Again, what really works in life is win-win, and that requires some sensitivity to the other fellow's way of thinking and his needs too. But win-win is the only formula that really will work on and on and on. And when it really starts working, when two people trust each other, imagine, take an operating theater at the Mayo Clinic. The whole damn group trusts one another. There's not a lot of lawyers or, they just know what to do and when to do it and who to call on for what help, and everybody does what they're supposed to and so on. So we're trying to get these win-win relations, and of course I see it all the time. Costco has this reputation. I'm a director of Costco, and Costco has this reputation of being a fairly tough buyer. I don't regard them as that tough. There are a lot of people who are rich as small suppliers at Costco, but Costco is into win-win, and that's what really works.
Yeah, it's win-win with their customers, but it's also win-win with their suppliers, and it's also win-win with their employees.
Absolutely, everybody has to win-win. Yeah. And Peter Coffin, whom you know well, is just
Peter was here a few weeks ago. Did anybody see Peter? He's a close friend of.
Well, Peter's the ultimate win-win operator, and the last person I want to compete with in life is Peter. He just takes such good care of the customers. I've never heard any complaint from Peter's customers except that his price is high. Everything else about the business is perfect.
So, according to him, win-win is the best strategy. And when we think about it, he's probably right. So when dealing with organizations, we have basically three potential options of behavior. One is cooperate. The second is being ignorant and doing nothing. And the third is betraying the other player on the field. When we start mixing up these three options, we have different strategies that evolve out of that. One strategy might be to always cooperate. The second strategy might be to always betray other players. And the third strategy might be to simply mirror the behavior of the other side and making sure that I myself stay on the winning side of the deal. Taking that into account, we then come to different outcomes when we start applying these strategies. So let's think about the first outcome, always betraying. Probably some people won't like it, and other people also might start betraying, and we probably might end up in a lose-lose situation. Being simply ignorant means doing nothing. Might also end up in this lose-lose situation. It becomes very interesting when we start cooperating. And I think this is the core of the business, that we must go into a business with the attitude of cooperation and making sure that the other party also gets a fair share of the deal. And interestingly, we then have two situations left. The first is, of course, we're taking care that our share is big enough of the pie. But when we observe that the other side is losing, it's always the question, should we do something? Should we help the other person to also achieve a positive outcome? Or should we just rip them off because they should take care of themselves? And according to Charlie Munger, this is not very much a viable strategy. He is a favorite of win-win, which means on one hand, we have to make sure that we get our share of the deal, but on the other side, also treat other people nicely, cooperate. And when we observe that the scale is tipping towards the losing side for that cooperation partners, we just lift them up and make sure that we have a lasting relationship. And win-win ultimately also, in my opinion, in a game that most likely lasts for several decades, win-win is the ultimate strategy that makes sure that organizations and people create lasting success.